Hi guys, and welcome back to a brand new piercing FAQ video. So I went onto Instagram, I asked for all of your questions. You sent me a crap ton of questions, so I'm gonna try and get through as many as I can in this one. If I don't answer your question, please don't worry, there'll be another FAQ very soon. So if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you come follow me on Instagram. There's links all down below and in the comments, so you can get your questions in for the next one. But we're gonna get straight into this video and answer some of your piercing questions. Worst reaction you've had from someone to do with your piercings? Most of the judgments I get now is mainly online because of what I do, and I put myself out there a lot more. So I get a lot of people to say like a monster, I've ruined my face, all that kind of stuff. When I used to work in retail, I used to get reactions sometimes from people like they would sort of like look at you as if you're like a drug dealer or something. And if I go down the street, I get a lot of people staring. Like I'm so used to people staring at me now. A lot of the time it doesn't even go into my vision because I do look, oh burpy wurpy, I do look very different to most people, but I can always tell what they're thinking. Like I can always see the judge. You can always think, oh, he's a drug dealer or he does this or whatever. Like you can just tell, or he doesn't have a job, all these kind of things. Or it's just the look. I'm so used to having it now. I can just tell instantly kind of what they're thinking when they're looking at me. Anyone who's got lots of piercings will understand what I'm saying. And some people might look at the think of that and go, how would you know? You just do. I've looked like this for so many years now. You just know what people are thinking. Do tongue web piercings rub your gums and teeth? So any kind of oral piercing does have the risk of damaging your teeth or your gums, whatever. Tongue web piercings, I'm not sure because it's kind of like underneath here. I'm sure if you're doing that too much, then yeah, obviously the bottom of it will knock against the gum and things. I think it poses more of an issue kind of like to the gum rather than the teeth because of where it will be positioned. Don't play with them, just leave them alone. You're kind of fine as long as you don't sort of bash them around your mouth, you'll be okay. And also make sure you're not wearing any jewellery that's too big. People say tea tree oil is really bad for piercings. Is this true and why? So I've only recently been told this a couple times. People have been commenting on some of my recent stuff saying, oh, you shouldn't use tea tree oil, it's bad for piercings. I think what the misconception of this kind of is because a lot of people don't realize that you have to dilute tea tree oil. You can't just put tea tree oil straight from the bottle onto your piercing because you will burn the piercing. You have to dilute it quite heavily. But my old piercing studio used to sell tea tree oil. I use, this is not a sponsor, but with Lush, they have a tea tree oil spray that I used to, I spray on my head after I've shaved it, but I also spray it on my piercings as well. And if the piercing is really irritated, I do use actual tea tree oil and I just dilute it in my saline solution, salt wash thing that I would with piercings. But tea tree oil isn't something that you should fear when it comes to your piercings. It's always worth a try. If it doesn't help, you might be allergic to tea tree oil. Obviously if you're scared about being allergic, go get tested. But I've always used tea tree oil on my piercings that have been irritated and it's worked a treat. Best way to clean crusties. So with crust and stuff, a lot of that to me is good for soaking. If you're in the shower or something, you can soak your ear, or if you have I use a shot glass sort of hold over piercing sometimes if it's really bad. Most crusty stuff will just come off when you wash anyway. But when you use a Q-tip or some cotton wool or something, you rub around the piercing, most of it should come off. If it's really, really stubborn, then you've got to soak it. But if it's that stage, you might have an infection. But just the general crusty stuff that comes around piercings should come off in the shower. But you should be cleaning it twice a day with salt water or saline solution until it is healed anyway. So they should come off when you do that. How does your piercer stretch your conch? So I do get asked this quite often. I guess people don't watch older videos. This isn't a stretch. So you can't actually stretch cartilage because it will split it. It's not something you can stretch. When I got this done, it comes out in one big chunk. So they use a dermal punch that looks like this. It was a 6mm dermal punch. Apparently they're illegal in some places. I don't know about this, but I was told on my last video that I talked about one that it's illegal. I can't remember the country where they said they were from. Comes out in one chunk. So there's not stretching. You can't stretch cartilage. So when you do this kind of stuff, you just have to punch it through in one go. So you can see the little bit of cartilage that comes out. Some people who do have big earlobes can also get their earlobes punched out. Realistically, my earlobe here is quite large. If I wanted a slightly larger plug straight away, I could probably get that dermal punch through. Have you tried any hoops for your nose piercings? No, I haven't. I've always just wanted little studs in my nose. I never wanted because people always tell me when I say this, but I do have a big nose. So I didn't want anything that was too massive that would draw too much attention to it. Now I've got 3 piercings on it, but I would never want hoops here as well. Having a septum piercing and then 2 hoops here, it might just look a little bit too much on my face. What do you think about professional piercers piercing babies? They're not professionals. Is it safe to have a piercing if you have a compromised immune system? So I actually don't know the answer to this question. I could Google it and stuff, but I don't really trust Googling stuff and just being is this the fact? Because I never know what to believe. So I would say in this scenario, go and see a doctor and then also go and see a piercer. I'm pretty sure they will give you the best information for that. How did you take care of your lip piercings? So I had my libret done back in 2010, 9 or 10, I don't remember the exact date. And unfortunately, I don't really wear that in very often anymore because I was a stupid idiot and left the long bar in too long, so it started eroding the gum here. So I don't have that in anymore. That was kind of easy to look after, to be honest, because it was kind of out the way. With these ones, the lip ones themselves were a little bit more tricky because it was higher up. When I first got my lip, the one on the far right, I got that one done in like 2010, and my lip ballooned up so much. It swelled up so badly, and I was being an absolute idiot, and I changed the bar too quickly because I was so scared about damaging my teeth. So I ended up putting like a hoop in too soon, and my lip swelled up really badly. Had to then take it out and put like a really long bar in and like soak it and like do the saline solution, all that kind of stuff, and like tea tree oil again. The second time I got it done, I was a little bit more careful. My lip did swell up again badly because it's just because of where it is on my body. I guess my body just didn't like that very much. But the good thing about like lip piercings is they do heal relatively quickly if you do it right, because the mouth kind of cleans itself. It's very sterile. If you smoke though, try to smoke on the other side. And also if you can stop smoking just while it's healing, that'd be great, because smoking will irritate the piercing. You can't have like oral sex between like up to like a few weeks after, because again, bacteria. You want to just try and keep anything away from the area until it is healed. Yeah, make sure you do have like the right size bar in when you can, because when you do get them pierced first off, you will get a really long bar in it. And unfortunately, if you leave them in too long, they can damage your gums. Now, normal piercings like this do have a risk of like hitting your teeth. For me, I haven't actually had a problem with these ones on the side. They don't seem to irritate me at all, like just because of the way my teeth are, like they never irritated me. Do you think 14 is too young for a belly button piercing? I'm not sure if that's legal. I'm not sure what the age of consent is when it comes to belly button piercings in the UK. It might be 16. So I'm gonna sound like an old bastard, and you're gonna be like, oh, stop being an old man, you grumpy old git. I would honestly say wait until you're 18 to get belly button piercings. I think anything to do with like your nipples, your belly button, any of those kind of piercings that are a little bit more intimate, I would always wait till you're 18, just because you are still growing. And I know that's an old person, oh no, but like you are still growing and your body is gonna be changing. You know, when you're 14 years old, you're still gonna grow after 14. I just think it's weird to see someone who's so young to have a belly button piercing. Like, I just think it looks a bit odd. My low piercing has a black purple hard pimple. Is that normal? So you could have an infection. It's kind of hard sometimes, because when you get hypertrophic scarring, the bumps that kind of appear on bias piercings, a lot of them do appear like a purpley color, like the one that I had here, keloids, I say keloids, actually hypertrophic scarring, but people know them as keloids. But when I had one here, like it was a big sort of like purpley, but like blister, and I have a tiny one at the top of my helix piercing here, and they are like purpley color. Don't panic too much. Try to clean it, try to use some tea tree oil, and if it doesn't go away, I would then say go see a piercer. But if you're still really worried, just go see a piercer straight away, because sometimes, you know, you could have an allergy to the material. Can I re-pierce my belly button after it got rejected? So this is a tricky one for me, to be honest. I would always say that if a piercing has rejected, it's probably a sign not to get it done again. I had my nape done twice, and both times it has rejected because of the kind of piercing it is, and a belly button piercing is technically counted as a surface piercing still, and it all depending on what the scarring's like on your body. Because if your belly button literally pushed it all the way out, you're gonna have a scar that goes all the way down your belly button. Personally, I wouldn't get it done again, because it's probably going to happen again. But if you really want it done, you can try, but I don't think it will work. Also, body piercers might not want to pierce you if you've got a scar there, so that might be an issue anyway. So I would just say again, go see a piercer, let them see it, but personally, I wouldn't get it done again. Do you think certain piercings suit some people rather than others? Yes, for sure. There are certain piercings that would suit people's faces, things that are more. I think sometimes when you get to a little bit of my stage, when you kind of just have everything pierced, it kind of blends all together, so it's not really like a look in some way, or like looks weird. Personally, I would never get anything on my top lip, because I would just look stupid. So certain facial features, depending on like how big someone's nose is, or how big someone's lips are, or how big someone's like eyebrow, like, you know, all these kind of things do play into it. You know, the bone structure and everything. Some piercings do suit people, others. And also the same, it comes with ears. It all depends on your ear shape. Some ears don't have much rim on, so you can't have like industrial piercings. Some ears don't have a big enough tragus to get pierced. It just depends on your like facial structure, your body shape, whatever. Like certain piercings will suit certain people. What do you do if a piercing you've had for a year isn't healed and slightly infected? Again, with this kind of stuff, I would always just go and see a piercer, because they'll be able to have a look at it. I can't tell just from this. I'd have to sort of see it more. But even then, like, I'm not a trained piercer, so they're gonna pick up things more than I would. Do you recommend splurging on high-end jewelry or going for cheap rings or studs? So I get read on this quite a lot. This is something that people do come to me quite often, because they're always like, you use cheap jewelry, it's such a bad example. First of all, I've never once in my life said, go buy cheap jewelry. I've never said that. So like what I do for myself. And also like, I don't know how you can tell half the time when like metal on camera doesn't look cheap. I don't know how you would tell. I get all of my stuff on eBay. I do buy cheap stuff. But the difference is I don't put cheap jewelry in unhealed piercings. I always wait for the piercing to be completely healed before putting like a cheaper bar in it or something. There's a little argument about acrylic jewelry can potentially like seep toxin into your body. I don't like really wear acrylic jewelry anymore. I used to a long time ago. I think this yellow one is like the only one that's acrylic now. I don't like the judgy people. Like if you want to wear something, you can do it. And as long as the piercing is healed, I just say go for it. And if it works for you, it's fine. I'm not going to tell you not to do something if you want to get it. Like I would always always say though, just spend the money on getting the piercing to begin with. Don't go to a cheap piercer. Make sure when you go get the piercing, you go to a professional. If someone says it's only a tenner to do this, blah, 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 maybe think, I'm getting a hole in my body for only a tenner. Maybe it's not a good idea. And then also, when you go to a piercing studio, the bars that they pierce you with are high-end jewellery. So if you want high-end jewellery, just keep the piercings in that they've pierced it with. Unless it's like a lip piercing, you can keep the longer, like slightly longer bar in if you want to have a high-end one. But I buy cheaper jewellery just because I do, and it works for my body, and I've never had any problems, so don't judge. So guys, yes, make sure you do come and follow me on Instagram down below and ask all your questions for the next one when I do a piercing FAQ, be in the next few weeks. But anyway guys, hit the like button as well because it really does help me out. Again, social media is down below. I'll see you very soon for another fabulous video. Be fabulous, amazing, gay, be everything you want to be, and don't need a bitch that they take on with you because you're what? Flawless.